God will work it out, and that is a beautiful song by Naomi Rain. And we say, be still. You're telling your soul, be still, because God will work it out. You be still, my soul. Don't have doubts, don't have condemnation, don't have those troubles. Don't trouble yourself, because you know what? God will work it out. And that is a beautiful way to enter us. It's called an entourage. Ya kuingia any time ya neno. This is the word time where we share the word of God. And today's topic ni moto. I told you topic yetu by the way leo ni moto. Ni fire. I have a friend who has a show in, one of our sister stations called Kihel. And asemanga ni fire, ni moto, So today is that day where our topic is fire, where our topic is lit. Today's topic actually, it's about what God cannot do. You know what? It doesn't exist. What God cannot do, it does not, has never been had. It does not exist. Actually, impossibility is only in humanity. But with God, everything is so possible. So our topic of the day is what God cannot do, it does not exist. And we're going to read the book of Luke chapter 1 verse 37. It's a very short word, and it's a very short and direct to the point. And it says, for with God, nothing shall be impossible. And when you talk about what God cannot do, does not exist, actually we are affirming with the very nature of God. Yani tunakubaliana with how God is, because that is the true character of our God. That is the true character of our Maker. And we have so many examples to share with these, but because what he cannot do does not exist, that means he's all powerful. That means he's unlimited. Yani he is infinity. That means that he's actually supreme, he's sovereign. Yani majina zote zenye unaweza patia mtu mwenye ni infinity, and mwenye hakuna mtu mwingine isipokuwa tu God peke yake. He's everything, he's unlimited. That is the true nature of God, that what he cannot do does not exist. And when you're talking about impossibility will only exist mali binadamu wako. Human beings were the ones who are known to una promise kitu, una backfire last minute. Una promise itatengenezwa, una backfire last minute. Una promise wa finance, nitakulipa kazi yako next week, ana backfire. Ama situations ina happen, then you find that you're not being paid on that exact date, inakuwa postponed. That is impossibility. It's in human beings, and that's why we are not perfect. That's why God is perfect, but we are not perfect. A total difference between humanity and God. So impossibility, it is only in human beings, my friends. And God with impossibility, hawapatani. God with doubts, hawapatani. So when we talk about impossibility, it does not exist kwa rekodi ya Mungu. It does not exist in his character. Unaona vile tunaanzanga when you're describing somebody, when you're describing something. So we as Christians, we're describing God, impossibility is not part of his character. That is the character of humanity. So when you talk about him being a man of possible deeds, let's speak about the time of creation. Turudi tu kwa time ya creation. Genesis. When he created this earth from nothing, actually the word of God says it was void. Hakukuwa na kitu. There was no separation of heaven and earth. There was no separation of mvua na jua. There was no separation of, wanyama, wild animals and domestic animals. There was no separation. There was no separation between animals and us. Hata zikuwa exist. It was null and void. But he created us. He created everything that we have today. In those 7 beautiful days, he did magical wonders. And so he's not a God of impossibilities. Hiyo ni perfect example na kupatia. One factor that is not a God of impossibility, and impossibility does not exist in his records. Let's talk about when he parted the Red Sea. Ali split mara mbili akatengeneza njia. Who can do that? Even today, nani ashaifanya kitu kama hiyo? We're told even we have prophets, right? We have men of God. We have men inspired by God himself. But nobody has ever done what God did during that time of Moses. Nobody has ever split it. Hata Red Sea hajaiona hivyo tena. That was a lifetime thing. Thirdly, God brought life to Sarah's womb. You can imagine for how long she has been craving for a son. She has been craving for hata si kijana peke yake. Sarah, I knew he was in a position. She was in a very tight position where she would only want any kid. Ikuwe ni msichana, ikuwe ni kijana, yeye alikuwa tu sawa. Because having a child was a miracle. But you see, God, even in that time of when Sarah was barren, he provided life to her womb. That is another. I'm giving you factors of impossibilities. It is not part of God's character. Let's go to when Jesus rose from the dead. Tajo, you can recall when Jesus rose from the dead. Nani amefufuka? Hizo stories za kwa propaganda ni Mungu peke yake tu. Yesu peke yake alifufuka. So you cannot compare God with impossibilities. You cannot. Hata leo jaribu aje, you cannot. Hata ukijaribu kumtoa makosa, fact remains that impossibility is not part of his docket. So when I've shared biblical stories about these characters and these traits that God made sure ametufanyia kwa maisha yetu that stand out, these actions, these factors are actions of our lives. So let's come back to our daily lives. Tunapitia, kuna mtu ako hosi, kuna mtu, hizi vitu tunapitia on a daily day, everyday activity. You find kuna watu wako hospitalini, wakati madaktari wako like they're giving you the 50-50 vibe, atuoni kama itawezekana. When they're giving you the impossible factors in life that unaona, kupata job ni ngumu, nimeenda hustle job ya huku, nimeenda huku, hakuna mtu ananikubali. Impossibilities. Nakwambia impossibilities ziko tu kwa human nature. But ushaienda kwa God. Ushaienda kwa God akakwambia iwezekani. Hata hakuna such an answer. We only have 3 answers. Yes, no, or wait. He never says that he cannot do it. Hakuna kitu inaweza mshinda, because that is a factor. But it all has to happen with his own timing. Si timing yako. Na just zingine tuko na pressure, nataka pesa saa hizi, 1 million pap. Nataka saa hizi, nataka job saa hii. Imagine mtoto akizaliwa anazaliwa kama ameitisha job. Is it even possible? You see, God has his own timing. So impossibility can only work in human nature. And when we talk about impossibility, human beings can actually let you down, but God can never let you down. So when you're talking about what God cannot do does not exist, it is a statement. It is a lifestyle of faith. It is a lifestyle of God. And us as Christians, we can only relive this life if we take faith very seriously in our lives. We take faith into action. That way, if you have faith, you'll actually see that what God cannot do does not exist. But if you don't have faith, you're full of doubt, my friend. Hautaiona ati utakuona tu Mungu ameni let down, nilikuwa naongoja job next week, ona last week wiki imeisha. You keep on asking God a lot of questions, but I'm here to tell you to have confidence in your God and know that God can actually do exceedingly, abundantly great than even your expectations. Because what he cannot do does not exist. So I hope today I've taught you something that is powerful and impactful in your life. And I hope you've learned something. Something that you can, something that will change your life from today henceforth. Usikuwa unaeka Mungu ati kwa position ya binadamu. Hapana. Mungu si Yvonne. Mungu si Rose wa Shadrach. Hapana, Mungu hayuko hivyo. God is just supernatural. He's just God. I've given you 4 examples, and there are so many examples that hatuwezi maliza leo. Examples ni excess. Uliona time ya zile plagues. Mnajua story ya time ya Egypt. Who can do that? Hata mchawi wa kwenyu hawezi. I'm just telling you factors. And I just want you, as you start this week, just know that what God cannot do does not exist. Whatever you want, he can actually put it to action. Whatever you want, he can actually deliver. The only difference can be timing. Because your timing and God's timing, trust you me, they're very different. We can only work with faith. We can only work with strength. We can only work with courage. We can only confide in him, to tell him, God, help me not to lose faith in you. Because at times his timing is not the same as yours. So I'm here to urge you today, my friend, my brother, my sister, even to myself. Let's know that what God cannot do does not exist. Because he says in the word of God, Luke 1:37, that he has actually said, tumesoma tu saizi that, let me open my Bible. I want to be very specific with the words. For with God nothing shall be impossible. For with God, not for with Yvonne, not for with Nez, apana, ni for with God nothing shall be impossible. He changed the Red Sea. He actually changed water into wine, by the way. Hizo vitu zote ushaisikia nani? Kuna story nilikuwa nasikia mahali kwa social media training that guy, it was a meme or something. He was trying to change water into wine, but ilishindikana, ilibaki tu kwa maji, hata ikuwa na taste, according to what people were saying. So nobody can be able to imitate God because he's unique, he's different, he's not like us. I want to read a few comments from Facebook. Ndaka kusoma SMS kadhaa. Naona Mary Nyambura, thank you so much for tuning in. My sister Geoffrey Gathewi Jeff Kawaida, good afternoon to you too. And I hope your weekend was great. Utanijibu tu. Hope weekend yako ilikuwa fiti. Rose wa Shadrach, good afternoon to you too. My sister Mchunga Jidan Musangandi, barikiwa sana. Unasema ukiwa upande wa Mwingi, upande wa Kitui County. God bless you so much, you tuned in. Bonex Kawambo, barikiwa sana na tutazidi kuombea kwa hiyo hoja ambayo umetuandikia hapo. Esther Gakuru Kangosho Queen, thank you so much for tuning in from Karatina. God bless you so much. Hao ni watu Karatina, Nyeri County, barikiwa sana. Blessed Favor, thank you so much for the love and sharing the love. God bless you. We don't take that for granted. Ningependa kutambua wengi, lakini ninaona kuna kasoro kidogo, lakini Mungu azidi kubariki. For those who have been able to join us, those who have been able to tune in and following the word of God, tumesema what God cannot do is actually impossible. Ningependa turudi kwenye mziki. Sijui tunarudi naye Rejesha naye Njoki Munyi. I hope tuko nayo director wangu teza kunisaidia upande huo, and God will do you well. I want us to listen to just one song, Rejesha. I want you to know, maybe we've lost faith. You got to a point that you feel like you've lost hope. You did not know that what God cannot do actually does not exist. Maybe ulifika mali kwa life yako, you felt everything I've been putting my hope into inagonga mwamba. Let me even advise you. There's somewhere I read, somebody that I follow, and she was talking about at times you become so vulnerable. You talk even about your dreams to people who are so close to you, your siblings, your family members. I'm not saying they're bad, but she was saying you share. You keep on sharing and sharing and sharing. So one day, she was sharing her plans and what she's about to achieve to her darling sister. But what the sister responded was just that, be careful whom you're sharing your dreams to. Be careful whom you're telling your dreams and success to. I'm here to tell you today, unaweza kuwa you're suffering, you're not actually broke. Unaweza kuwa actually you're not broke. Inaweza kuwa tu spiritually you're broke. How? Not broke at in terms of money spiritually, no. You're broke, like you're broken because you're not spiritually awake. So what I learned about this story, because of how she was explaining, at times we hinder ourselves from blessings directly. You share your stories, you share your expectations with a lot of love, with a lot of joy. You're very vulnerable. You're still baby. You get, I'm still baby. You're still baby. So you're trying to be vulnerable to your people because you know, definitely, these are my guys. They will not let me down. Let me tell you, you'll be surprised. Anybody can let you down. I mean, anybody. Any human being can let you down. Anything on this earth can let you down. Even our bodies can let you down. But one thing I know that cannot let you down, it's God. Reduce talking about your successes. Reduce talking about your plans. Reduce talking about how you got to where you are. Reduce it. Ama utapata mambo yako imekwama. Utapata shughuli yako iendelee. Uko tu stagnant. Mali tu ulikuwa hapo tu ndio umefika. So I'm here to encourage you today. Trust in God. Tell him everything. He will listen to you. He will not judge you. He will not tell people. He'll stick to you. He'll be firm. Because what he cannot do again does not exist. He's a faithful God. He stands by his word. Si kama Yvonne, meta mimi ni binadamu, I can actually change. You know, naweza kupromise kesho nita show up. Nipate shughuli sita show up. Because I'm human. But you see, God atakuwa present for me. Imagine tunamuita at the same time, me, you, Nez, Evelyn, at the same time we'll call him and he'll be there for all of us. At the exact time, hata postponed, he'll be there. He'll be there. Let's focus on counting on God. Let's focus on believing in him. Let's focus on telling him everything. Make him your best friend. Make him your God. Make him your pillar. You'll not regret it. And he will be there for you. Ile atakufa na wewe kaa mbaya. You get it? And God will be faithful to you. So that is how I want us to go to that song Rejesha. And nataka ujue Mungu anaweza rejesha whatever that was stolen, whatever dream that you felt imeisha, whatever you felt that is gone, whatever, even your faith. Maybe you felt maybe sina imani anymore. I want you to know that he can restore. He can restore. There is a beautiful song from Joachim